Hey friends, I want to show you a new record I just got. This is the clear version, sorry there's a glare, of Selling England by the Pound on clear vinyl. And it just came out on Rhino. It is part of their Start Your Ear Off Right series, which I believe comes out in like January or February, but it ends up not really getting to record stores until about March, I believe, because they did it last year or maybe even the year previous with Trick of the Tail on yellow vinyl, which I have, and Duke on white vinyl, which I also have, and is really nice. Now, I'll tell you why I got this. A couple reasons. First of all, I feel like a little bit of a completist, so I do feel the pressure to get a new copy if there's something different about it, and so the color version is really cool. And in the case of Duke, and in the case of Trick, I had some older original pressings that were in rough shape. Cosmetically, they were in rough shape. Sonically, they were good. Well, the Trick version was in rough shape, but the Duke version I had sonically was good. And so it was nice just to get like a fresh copy, nice, clean, freshly printed artwork, especially Duke, because it can get dirty easily. And the white vinyl of Duke was awesome. I thought that the color vinyl on Trick didn't match the yellow of the artwork. I thought they kind of picked a bad color. See, most pressing plants just have a catalog of colors available of the PVC colors, dyed PVC that they have. You can do a custom color using a Pantone, but it costs a ton of money, and there's no way a major label would do that. Major labels actually have like an allowance for design and packaging, and they are not allowed to exceed that threshold unless it's like a super special box set. And these aren't really that special. These are just done the exact same way. There's nothing like bonus that comes with it. Look, I've left the shrink wrap on and the marketing sticker on there as well. Okay, then the classic 1973 studio album features Firth of Fifth and I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe. The other reason that I got the Duke version and the reason I got this is that sometimes I like to listen to the music a little bit louder. And the Duke version, the 2007 mix, I believe this is 2007 mix. There's no credits anywhere, so I don't see Nick Davis's name anywhere on here. But I do believe that this is the remasters from 2007. And you guys can let me know, but I don't see that officially stated anywhere. Very interesting. That seems like a bit of a mistake. Let's check the record maybe. Okay, so here's the clear vinyl. So I don't really want to talk too much about like the differences between the sonics of this and the other one. And to be honest, I haven't had that much of a chance to compare them. So I would love to do that. The other thing I love about this is that they make vinyl heavier than they did in the old days. So this is 180 grams and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Let me see if this says Nick Davis anywhere on it. Okay, so it says copyright 2014 and 1973. It's really beautiful. I'll tell you what, clear vinyl is my most favorite color. I think all records should be done clear. I think it's really minimal, and I think it allows for the original design to stand out. I think clear is the new black. That's what I think. I don't love black records, although I'm starting to warm to them again, but I don't love black records so much. I really like clear. I think clear is cool because, okay, so going back to colors, right? I was just talking about the colors with A Trick of the Tail. So you only have a certain color to work with based on the pressing plant's predetermined colors. And if you try to have a Pantone created like an original color, that won't work. It just gets too expensive. And so you have to pick a color. And so if you're trying to match like the yellow in A Trick of the Tail, it's just slightly off a little bit. So clear is a safe bet. White with Duke is a safe bet. I think if they're going to keep doing this series, and I really hope they do, I think things will get a little tricky. Now, I think my guess is if they were to do another record or two next year, my guess is they would maybe do Abacab. I think they've done Invisible Touch, although I don't know if it's the same company who did that, but there is an orange copy of Invisible Touch around. I would guess they would do maybe Abacab and Shapes. And so Shapes, they might go yellow. They might try to match the yellow, but I think it'll be hard. There's like a canary yellow or like a mustard yellow that might work. I think if they did Abacab, that one would be easier. You could actually pull from any one of the colors. You could do gray. You could try to get a red or a blue to match. I feel like that wouldn't be too difficult to come close. Again, I just don't know what type of quality assurance is happening at the big major companies who are doing this. Yeah, I'm concerned a little bit that they're not necessarily going to the plant, getting a physical version of the PVC plastic color, and then putting it next to the original album cover and saying, does this match? I just don't see that happening at major labels. Now let's talk about the audio real quick. So we do, I am pretty certain that this is the remastered. I don't think it's the half-speed master that's available. There's no photo on the back of this, which is interesting too. That kind of indicates that there's a different sound. And so I think it's a more modern Nick Davis mix. And again, I don't have huge issues, especially on the single disc records. Anything would sound better if they went to a double disc, but again, they're trying to save money, right? They just want people to buy this record again. A record they bought in the 70s, and then they bought again in the 80s on cassette, and then they bought again in the 90s on CD, and now they're buying again on clear vinyl. So record labels just want you to buy it again, and I've done it. I would like them to do some more. I mean, Abacab would be cool in a color vinyl. I don't know if they'll do the lamb. I think they could do the lamb in white or clear, would look really cool. I don't know if they'll do that. I haven't seen them do any kind of splatters. That costs a little bit more money, or like a swirl when you do two colors. So I don't think they're going to be doing that. We Can't Dance is 2 discs, and I just don't know if it would sell too well on vinyl. And it's been pressed on vinyl, so I'm not sure if they'll do that, but they could do that, and they could do it in like a turquoise color. What else could they maybe do? They could do Foxtrot on a blue and Nursery Crime on an orange or something. Again, I don't know how well those records sell. Same with Trespass. Trespass on a blue would be cool, but I don't know how well those records sell. So I don't know if there's motive to do it. Whereas Abacab, I think, would sell well, especially if it looks cool. And same with Shapes. I think that would sell well as well. Again, with the Duke and with this one, I just really wanted it to be a little bit louder. If I feel like blasting Firth the Fifth, or I Know What I Like, or Man of Our Times, or the Duke Suite, I felt like those records, the original pressings, were a little bit quieter. And that's what some people complain, right? Some people complain that they're slightly overcompressed, but it allows for the turntable to get a little bit louder and the sonics to be a little bit controlled. I haven't listened to the end of these records, sometimes because of the lack of quality check and the fact that labels didn't want to do double disc. Sometimes the music gets too close to the center and you start to hear distortion. And I wonder if that might be the case on the second side. But then again, on the first side, but More Fool Me isn't a very high dynamic song, so it shouldn't be an issue. But I was noticing the huge distortion on the BBC box set, the latest BBC box set, huge distortion on the end of the last disc. So I think it's driving the last spike. It goes Throwing It All Away, No Son of Mine, and then Driving the Last Spike. And the distortion is insane. It's a shame. It really is a shame. You got to be careful. If you're over 15 minutes, you're on a record side, you're getting into the danger zone. So you have to be careful. You have to listen carefully to the test pressings. And so as a fan, I feel a little bit robbed of, buying an $80 project that has some really rough distortion. Now, maybe I could check it on a super high-end turntable. I have a pretty good turntable. Certainly not the cheapest turntable out there, but I was a little disappointed in the distortion. But this sounds great. And I was so stoked because I had been needing to grab a new copy of Selling Them by the Pound. So to get one on clear, I just waited for it. It took me a while. It took a while for this to come into my local record store. But anyhow, my question for you is a couple things. Do you have this? Did you get Selling England by the Pound on clear vinyl? And my other question for you is, what do you think is the best vinyl version or the best master of Selling England by the Pound? Is it the first one? Is it one of the remixes? Is there a half-speed version of this that I'm not aware of? Let me know, and let me know what you think about this clear version if you have it. Thanks for watching.